Clock. All right. Ms. Howe, if you'll call the roll, please.
Ms. Schilling. Mr. Dawson.
Present.
Mr. Ritt.
Here.
Ms. Ulyss.
Here.
Mr. Callie.
Here.
Mr. Pate.
Here.
Mr. King.
Here.
Vice Mayor McDonald.
Present.
Mayor Anderson.
All right. If you will, stand and join me in our opening prayer and pledge. Heavenly Father, we give thanks for the privilege and responsibility to serve the city of Fairview. We ask for your guidance and wisdom as we deliberate and make decisions that will impact the lives of our citizens. May we always strive to be just, fair, and compassionate in our actions. Lord, unite our hearts and minds in a spirit of cooperation and understanding. Forgive our sins and guide us to make decisions that reflect your will and honor your name. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Ms. Howell, do we have any citizens' comments tonight? All right.
We have Mr. Joseph Ilowinski.
All right. And if you will, sir, state your name and address, and we have 3 minutes on the clock for your citizens' comment.
My name is Joe Elanowski. I live at 7427 Swindon Boulevard in the Otter Creek neighborhood here in Fairview. I'm here to talk about item 8D on the agenda, which is changing the layout of the neighborhood in Otter Creek for the last phase of development. When you look at the materials, you'll see our lot number is 148. I moved to Fairview about 9 years ago, and I coach basketball at the high school going into my 9th year. And I'd much rather be in the gym, but this is a very important topic to be here to speak on. And so my wife and I got married last summer, built a house. We started with Regent, the builder, at the lot level, and really put a lot of thought into which lot and and how to build that house, and based on the existing plans that were approved by the city, and with really the retention area that's right behind in our backyard. And today that retention area fills up pretty quickly if it rains for a couple days, 2 or 3 days. And this is specifically on the map denoted as open area number 1 when you in your materials. And so we get a lot of frogs, we get a lot of bugs, and most importantly, there's so many kids in the neighborhood, and that when there's more standing water, it just poses a big risk. I was on my deck earlier this afternoon, and there were kids playing in that retention area. And there's a lot of trees, and so it's not easy to see those kids. And so it poses a pretty significant risk to decrease that retention area. I would compare it to, most of you guys are probably familiar with the football field, where it's a bowl. On all 4 sides, it slopes down into that retention area. And so we have a significant concern of decreasing that retention area by a third, taking an acre away, that it'll be more standing water, it'll fill up more, there will be more flooding, and really more danger to our neighborhood for the ones that are going to be there for the next 15, 20 years. And so we request that we respectfully ask that you put a lot of thought as you review those changes and whether it's really appropriate to change those plans. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our second one is Darcy Miller.
Thank you. Ma'am, if you'll state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
Awesome. Darcy Miller, my address is 7425 Swindon Boulevard. I am Joe's neighbor on the right-hand side, so we both overlook said retention area that is in discussion. And for reference, I am lot 149, so when I'm referring to lot numbers, that's kind of exactly where I'm at on Swindon. First and foremost, my husband and I are very excited to welcome more neighbors into the Otter Creek neighborhood. We can't wait to have hopefully more children running around with our boys. So we absolutely love that and are excited to finally have construction begin. However, when I heard of this proposal, I was quite frankly stunned but I also empathize because I know that the builders probably actually haven't seen how our street on Swindon actually already floods. The basin of Swindon, where it slopes down to the lowest elevation, already floods every single time that it rains. So when I hear we're proposing a reduction in a retention area that was intentionally built for phases 1 and 2 of the neighborhood, that does give me quite concern. So suddenly now that phase 3 comes along, we don't need the very intentional square footage that was given to phases 1 and 2. So more so, if there's more retention area needed, can phase 3 figure it out within phase 3 versus impacting the existing parts of the neighborhood? As Joe mentioned, please just go look at the elevation of Otter Creek. It all pools into a bowl very intentionally. Otter Creek itself divides the different lots within the neighborhood. And I'm just love for you to look at it because I think it would make sense to a lot of you on all of that. So thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you. All right. Approval of agenda from the September meeting. Our September 9th meeting was a regular meeting. Do I have a approval of that agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second. Second.
All right, Pape, McDonald. Ms. Howe, if you'll call the roll.
Mr. Pape,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Ms. Schilling,
Abstain.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Ms. Ulyss,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Abstain.
Mayor Anderson. Mr. Callie.
Aye.
All right, motion passes 7 pass, 2 abstain. Approval of minutes for this meeting tonight on October 14th. Is that today's date? Yes. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Right. If you'll call the roll, Ms. Howell.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Mr. Callie,
Aye.
Ms. Schilling,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Ms. Ulyss,
Aye.
Mr. Pape,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Motion passes unanimously. No old business tonight. New business, item A, PC Resolution PC 3825, rezoning of 7111 Harrison Drive, map 042G, Group A, Parcel 18, current zoning RS40, proposed zoning RS10, property owner Mary Curie. Staff, if you'll read your report, please.
Mr. Tim Mangrum has submitted on behalf of the owner, Mary Curley, a request to rezone the entire 3.73 acre parcel of property at 7111 Harrison Drive, tax map 042G, Group A, Parcel 18. From RS40 to RS10, the property is located at the terminus of Harrison Drive, north of the intersection of Harrison Drive and Adams Drive. The surrounding properties are located within the municipal boundaries of Fairview and contain a variety of residential land uses. The adjacent properties to the north, south, and west contain single-family detached residential land uses, while the property to the east contains a small-scale multifamily residential development. The property to the north is Crestview subdivision, All are zoned RS20, while the properties to the south and west are zoned RS40. The property to the east is zoned RM12. The property in the 2040 Fairview Forward Comprehensive Plan is classified as residential transition. Future land use classification. This future land use classification notes appropriate land uses are multifamily, residential, single-family attached residential, and civic institutional. The residential transition neighborhood future land use classification lists 4 zone districts as appropriate. These zone districts are RS15, RS8, RS5, and RM8 with a PUD overlay. The requested zone district of RS10 does not align with the appropriate zone districts in the Fairview Forward 2040 Comprehensive Plan. Although the future land use classification does not list RS10 as an appropriate zone district, it does list RS8 and RS5 zone districts as appropriate, and these 2 zone districts permit higher density than RS10. Therefore, our staff recommends that the Planning Commission provide a favorable recommendation to the Fairview Board of Commissioners to approve this request to rezone all 3.73 acres of property located at 7111 Harrison Drive with the following conditions. This rezoning request will be placed on the Thursday, November 6th Board of Commissioners meeting for consideration, with the potential for the public hearing and second reading being held at the Thursday, December 4th, 2025 Board of Commissioners meeting. There is a representative tonight to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Greer. Sir, if you will, do I have a motion to approve this agenda item?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Right, McDonald, Anderson. Ms. Howe, if you'll call the roll. Call a vote, sorry.
Oh.
Sorry,
We'll talk about it if we can.
sorry. All right, if you will state your name and address, please.
Tim Mangrum, 7326 Fernville Road, Fairview.
Is there anything you want to tell us about the project?
The only hiccup we did run into with the Water Authority is with having discussions with them, they have been looking at a portion of this property for a new water tower. Apparently they've been looking into this for quite some time. So we have, we've discussed, and I've got a concept here if you guys want to see it. I've got copies for everybody, but it's only showing 10 lots, 9 new lots. The existing house will stay on one of the lots. But we have discussed with the Water Authority giving them a lot for the new water tower. And then once they get that water tower up and usable, the lot that the water tower is currently on in Clearview, they'll transfer to us. So apparently, the location of the current water tower is about 5 foot in elevation shorter than the highest point on this property. And they said the water tower is about 15 feet too short right now, period. So somehow the water towers work with one another, so it's above my pay grade. But we are working with those to help them get a new water tower on one of the lots.
Thank you.
I would like to note, just for clarification, that you all may not see it, but there is a platted point of access from Clearview Drive right here on the northern side of this property. So it has accessibility from Harrison Drive along with Clearview Drive as well.
Yes, and our concept actually shows we come in through Clearview. We won't use Harrison Drive as our access point for the development. And then the adjacent property, we're proposing, like I said, this is just a concept, but we're proposing a hammerhead for future connectivity if it's ever needed in the future.
I have a question for staff. This occurs in a couple, maybe one other instance in tonight's agenda items, but RS10 not being listed as an appropriate zoning, but RM8 and 5 are. Is there any reason why RS10 has been left out of the appropriate zoning?
I do not have a great answer for that. The drafting of the 2040 comprehensive plan did not have RS10 listed as an appropriate zone. Looking at, the overall picture, I think staff would prefer that we have larger lot sizes than RS5 and RS8. RS10 mostly corresponds with the direction that we're moving with our new development code that you've all seen. CD3 allows for 4 units per acre. RS10 is essentially 4 units per acre. And so falling closely in line with the direction that we're moving with the new development code, that was where our recommendation came from. Although it's not directly stated in the residential transition future land use, it is considerably closer to the direction that Fairview is heading than what the 2040 plan has with the higher densities.
I'll take a stab at maybe why it was that way. The last image that was on the screen, it showed the 2040 plan. And we were not in any way, shape, or form part of the drafting of the 2040 plan. However, you see the lavender color area there, it's commercial center. And then the darker brown, which we're talking about here, is residential transition. My guess is that they placed the higher density residential as a appropriate zone to help a transition between that commercial area and the existing lower density residential to the north of that. That would be my guess is why they placed that in there. Why they didn't include R10, I can't tell you why, but my guess would be they did the higher density to help somewhat of a transition from the commercial to the existing residential. Yeah, they do have RS15, but why they didn't do RS10,
That was the.
we're
it
not
skip-
sure why they
skips
wouldn't
right
have done
over
that.
it.
But as far as the higher densities, my guess would be just because there was that commercial area adjacent, and they wanted to have some higher density residential before transitioning down to what was existing north of there.
Sure. Are there any other questions from the Planning Commission? All right, hearing none. Ms. Howell, if you will, call a vote, please.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson,
Aye.
Ms. Schilling,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Ms. Schulist,
Aye.
Mr. Callie,
Aye.
Mr. Pape,
Aye.
Mr. King.
Aye.
All right, motion passes
Thank you.
9-0. Thank you. Next item, item B, PC Resolution PC 3925. Final plat, Phase 2, Reserves on Chester Subdivision, Map 42, Parcel 136.02. Current zoning is RS40. Property owner Duke and Duke LLC.
Make a motion to approve 3925.
Second.
All right, Callie Pape. All right, is there a representative for the project that wants to speak? If you will, state your name and address again.
Tim Mangrum, 7326 Fernville Road, Fairview.
All right, staff, if you want to read your comments, please.
T-Squared Engineering, on behalf of Duke and Duke LLC, has submitted a final plat for Phase 2 of the Reserves on Chester residential subdivision. The Reserves on Chester subdivision consists of 2 phases and a total of 46 single-family residential lots. The entire property is zoned RS40. Phase 1 of the development contains 15 single-family residential lots on 22.96 acres. Phase 2 contains 31 single-family lots on 36.86 acres. The final plat for Phase 1 of the Reserves on Chester development was approved at the July 2024 Planning Commission meeting. Additionally, Phase 2 will extend one public right-of-way that was created in Phase 1 and create one new public right-of-way. Also, Phase 2 will create a utility district parcel for locating a pump station and 2 open spaces. Staff recommends the Planning Commission approve the final plat for Phase 2 of the Reserves on Chester in order to create 31 single-family lots, create a utility district parcel, extend one public right-of-way, create one public right-of-way, and create 2 open spaces and install all necessary infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Greer. Any questions from the Planning Commission, or
Move for approval?
we already did that?
Oh, good. I'm behind, sorry. I approve it a second time. I'm sorry, I thought Ethan read and then never mind. Go ahead. Yeah, doesn't he read first and then we make a motion? It's okay. I'm just used to that. Go ahead.
Anything you want to share about the project?
This is just finalizing the last 31 lots. It's really phase 2 of the total development and conforms with the development plan and construction plans.
For the clarity of the record, could you introduce yourself
Oh,
and
yes,
address,
I'm
please? Thank
Louis
you.
Sloyan with T-Square Engineering.
Thank you. If there are no further questions or comments, let's move for a vote. Ms. Howe, if you will.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Pate,
Aye.
Ms. Schilling,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Ms. Ulyss,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
Motion passes 9-0. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, item C, PC Resolution PC 4025, Final Plat, Phase 1 of City Center, Map 42, Parcel 177, Current Zoning MSMU, Property Owner Fairview Town Center LLC. Mr. Greer, if you will give us your report, please.
Mr. Olson has submitted on behalf of Fairview Town Center LLC a final plat for City Center Phase 1. The City Center project contains a total of 52 acres. Phase 1 contains 12.5 acres of the total development and is zoned Main Street mixed use. City Center Phase 1 contains 6 mixed-use lots, 25 townhouse lots, 7 open spaces, right-of-way for 6 public roads, all necessary easements and all necessary stormwater, water, and wastewater infrastructure. The master development plan for the city center development listed different building types to be located in specific areas. Within the overall development, Phase 1 of the project includes building types 1, 2, 3, 4, and 9, which is in alignment with the approved city center master development plan. Staff recommends the Planning Commission approve the final plat for City Center Phase 1 in order to create 6 mixed-use lots, create 25 townhouse lots, create 7 open spaces, dedicate right-of-way for 6 public roads, and dedicate all necessary easements, and install all necessary stormwater, water, and wastewater infrastructure as resubmitted on September 26, 2025.
Make a motion to approve PC 4025.
Second?
Callie McDonald. Do I have a representative for the project? If you will, sir, state your name and address.
Eric
please.
Olson, Anastel Ebb, 618 Grashman Park Drive, Nashville.
All right. Any questions or comments from the Planning Commission?
Keith, if you don't mind, can you go, yeah. I put all 3 sheets of the final plat in here if you want to speak to any of the areas. I know this is a very exciting project for the city. So if you want to speak to kind of how it's all laid out and
Yeah,
what
we got-
people can expect.
Yeah, just entrance road coming in. I mean, you've all seen it next to us right here. I think it's looking pretty good. Let's leave the commercial lots up front for future development, once the roads are in. We got the townhouses in there, and you got the pump station going in right now. I think it's looking pretty good, but if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer it.
Madam Chair, we just wanted to make sure that is not another pizza establishment, so it is a pump house. A lot of questions about that.
I think it's
so.
a nail salon.
Oh, it is a nail salon? Okay. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, a lot of excitement about this, right? We've been waiting a very long time for this, so we're ready to go. Thank you so much for
No
coming here
problem. I
today.
think it's going to be a great asset, so.
All right, if there are no other comments or questions, Ms. Howe, if you'll call a vote, please.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Schilling.
Aye.
Mr. Dawson.
Aye.
Mr. Rhett.
Aye.
Ms. Ulyss.
Aye.
Mr. Pape.
Aye.
Mr. King.
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Next item on the agenda, item D, PC Resolution PC 4125. Final plat, Phase 3, Section 2 of Otter Creek subdivision, map 42, parcel 78. Current zoning is R20. Property owner Otter Creek Holding LLC. Mr. Greer, if you will give us a staff report, please.
SEC Engineering has submitted on behalf of Otter Creek Holding the final plat for Phase 3, Section 2 of Otter Creek Springs subdivision and the re-subdivision of open space lot number 1 in Phase 2 of the Otter Creek Springs subdivision. Phase 3, Section 2 of Otter Creek contains 34 single-family detached residential lots on 50.10 acres. Phase 3, Section 2 will also extend public rights of way that have been created in previous phases of the subdivision and create 1 new public right-of-way. Phase 3, Section 2 will also create 7 open spaces. The open spaces will also function as a public utility and drainage easement, and several open spaces contain a stream and stream buffer along the western boundary of the open space. The plat also contains a re-subdivision of open space Lot 1 to match the construction plans that were approved in February 2025. The revised construction plans reduced the size of the open space Lot 1 from 3.55 acres to 2.38 acres due to the relocation of Lot 94 to the east of its original location. The location of Lot 94 was switched with the location of the proposed detention pond. The overall open space acreage was not reduced due to this change. The reduction in the size of open space Lot 1 was offset by the moving of the proposed detention pond and the creation of a new open space lot where Lot 94 was originally proposed. Staff recommends the Planning Commission approve the final plat for Phase 3, Section 2 of Otter Creek Springs subdivision and the re-subdivision of open space Lot number 1 in Phase 2 of Otter Creek Springs subdivision in order to create 43 single-family detached residential lots, extend 2 public rights-of-way, create 1 new public right-of-way, and create 7 open spaces. And Curtis also has a couple things to add to the end of that staff report.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to provide some information to the Planning Commission for Mr. Joseph, Ms. Darcy's comments made at the beginning of this meeting. To our knowledge, that detention pond that currently exists in Phase 2 behind lots 148 and 149 will not change in size. We reviewed the approved construction plans for Phase 3. The plans do not show any changes to that pond, and they're not even within the approved limits of disturbance. And again, I just want to say that this personally, and the city itself probably advises the public not to allow children to play in detention pond areas. That is an area for treating stormwater runoff. I know it looks fun. I did it as a kid, but please do not. So standard practice is to fence these detention pond areas to deter anyone from entering these. And, after reviewing the recorded plat for Phase 2, it does show a fenced area is required to be around the perimeter of this pond. I did look on aerial imagery. It did not appear there was one, which I'm going to confirm tomorrow morning. And if it is not existent, I'm going to send an email to the developer to get it installed immediately to deter anybody from entering stormwater areas.
Thank you both. All right, I will entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve?
Second.
Anderson, Pape.
Madam Chair?
Ma'am.
Okay, so by definition, I heard the word retention several times. By definition, retention means a pond that holds water. Is this actually a retention pond or a detention pond where water flows in and is meant to evaporate or go into the ground?
It is labeled as a detention pond on
Okay,
Phase 2.
I just wanted to make that clear that it's not a retention pond that holds water. It is a detention pond that the water goes into and slowly.
Correct.
Yes.
And I just want to state, this isn't city infrastructure as of yet. City has still not accepted it, so there's still going to be inspections and as-built to be reviewed. So if it is operating as a retention pond instead of a detention, that will be noted and then corrected if needed.
And also, I don't know if all developments have this, but in Cumberland Estates, they have what I consider a great process to fence these. It's a split rail, which looks nice, but it has a black wire backing that you can't see, but kids cannot, well, I guess unless they were to climb and jump over, which, that is what it is. But it's just not easy to get through. So I've been advocating for that type of fencing, something that looks really nice aesthetically, but also has the wire that keeps the kids out. So just wanted to point that out. And then I guess, thank you, Curtis, for the information, because the size was what I was going to ask about, but you've already addressed that.
Yeah, and just to speak on the open space area. So in the staff report, it says what the open space area is, and it's only getting decreased because of what is happening in Phase 3. There's a lot that bisects that open area, so it's creating two open areas, but generally those two open areas equal that original area, if that makes any sense.
And it is approved to do what it's supposed to do with the stormwater runoff.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Just to add to what the mayor was commenting on too, to clarify, because of some of the comments that were made. So not only are there no changes to the Phase 2 detention pond, but this plat also creates a new pond in Phase 3 that will handle all the Phase 3 detention, the required detention. And so the open space area was shuffled around, but the detention is still there, and it's still, so Phase 3 is providing its own detention, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Question. So you had answered my question about the fence. That was going to be one of my questions. Will you hold the final plat signatures, approvals, publication until that fence is built?
So that fence that we're talking about is in actually Phase 2, which already has a recorded plat, already been constructed, but we still have their bond. And so we haven't accepted that infrastructure. And so if they wanted to release their performance bond, that would be the trigger, and to be like, hey, we need a fence installed for this detention pond area.
I see. And just to confirm, I see the critical lots marked, but none of the lots are in the floodplain or are in danger of future flooding.
That is what I recall.
And that's a 100-year flood?
100-year, and they sometimes note the 500-year, yes. But I can double check for you here shortly.
Are there any other questions or comments from Planning Commission?
Madam Chair.
Sir?
Like to hear what the reasoning is to make that change. What I guess triggered it or caused it to need to be done. I don't know who could answer that. If there's someone from the project who can speak
Is there
to it.
anyone representing the project that would like to come forward, please? You will state your name and address for the record.
My name is Adam Sanders. I represent SAC, who works with Otter Creek. To be honest with you, I cannot speak to your specific question there. I'm familiar with the project in that I helped the drafter draft the plat, and that's the extent of my knowledge with the plat itself.
Staff, do you have any understanding of why it changed, just based on your conversations with?
Keith, you were on page 2, I think. If you could go back to the first, that picture there. So, Keith, if you'll do click share, I'm just gonna run it from here because I can zoom in a little bit better.
While he's pulling that up, just want to confirm, no floodway, no floodplain.
Thank you.
So, put it into what changed. Lot 94 is the specific lot that is moved. You can see where lot 94 lays. These were on the approved construction plans. It's right in the bend of a knuckle there. On the plat for tonight, they have pulled lot 94 back off of that knuckle to create that same lot further to the east, and have taken kind of where that lot was and created that to be open space and PUDE number 2. So it moved a little bit. If you look at the back to the construction plans, you can see where the stream flows down through there. Make that a buildable lot. It needed to be scooted to the east. Curtis, do you have anything to?
And you can see the existing pond behind lots 148 and 149. And then you can see the additional pond that will be constructed in phase 3. So nothing changing as far as that existing pond, and there will be additional detention for phase 3.
Any other questions?
Yeah, random. So we use the terms POD and PUD, Planned Overlay District Planned Unit Development. What is PUDE?
That's a public utility and drainage easement.
I see. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have a follow-on.
Sir, go ahead.
Is there any recorded history of Swindon Road receiving any water or any runoff that would affect this project? I believe when Mr. Elanowski was speaking, he mentioned I think he had a concern of water coming up to that road. Can you speak on that maybe a little bit?
The only concern that I've heard from Swindon Boulevard to our office concerning water along there is that this road has not received final topping. And so there's approximately 1.5 to 2 inches between the current pavement level and the edge of the curb. And so there is an opportunity there for water to pond within the road prior to it getting into the curb inlets. And once this road gets its final topping of asphalt, that issue should be resolved.
So you would say on a whole, the drainage in this area should improve at the end of the project?
Correct. It is still an active construction project today.
Thank you.
They have to put a fence around it, right? Do you give them a certain amount of time to put the fence around it?
In this case, if citizens of Fairview are entering stormwater detention areas, my request would be immediately for that to be constructed.
And is there a size that you can go up to with a retention pond?
As far as fence height,
No, just the size of the, I mean, I've been in the one in Cumberland, and it's not very big.
you're
But I've been
asking,
in
is there a
others, but-
minimum size for
Yes.
detention pond areas?
Or too large of one?
That's a good question. We don't have anything in our ordinances that says minimum or maximums. It's all dependent on the drainage area, and also the available space. You know, sometimes the general area of a stormwater area is the middle or a corner of a property, and so that can only be the most viable place to place detention pond areas. So, no minimums or maximums.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none. Ms. Howell, if you will, call a vote, please.
Mayor Anderson,
Aye.
Mr. Pape,
Aye.
Ms. Schilling,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Ms. Shulis,
Aye.
Mr. Callie,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald.
Aye.
Motion passes 9-0. Thank you. And thank you, citizens, for coming in. Next item on the agenda, item E, PC Resolution PC 4225, rezoning 7104 Hall Road, map 43D, Group A, Parcel 10, current zoning RS 40, proposed zoning RS 15, property owner Innovated Construction Company, LLC. Mr. Greer, if you will give a staff report, please.
Mr. Tim Mangrum has submitted on behalf of the owner a request to rezone the entire 3.17 acre property at 7104 Hall Road from RS 40 to RS 15. The property is located southwest of the intersection of Cox Pike and Hall Road. All surrounding properties are located within the municipal boundaries of Fairview and contain single-family detached residential land uses. All surrounding properties are zoned RS 40. The property is classified as legacy residential in the Fairview Forward 2040 Comprehensive Plan. The future land use classification notes the only appropriate land use as single-family detached. The legacy residential future land use classification lists 2 districts as appropriate. These zone districts are RS 40 and that's a typo there, bud. And R20. The requested zone district of RS 15 does not align with the appropriate zone districts as listed in the legacy residential future land use classification. Although the requested zone district of RS 15 is not listed as an appropriate zone district, the applicant has indicated the plan is to create 6 lots on the property, which would provide lots more in line with the size requirements of RS 20, but with the frontage requirements of RS 15. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission provide a favorable recommendation to the Board of Commissioners to approve this request to rezone all 3.17 acres of property located at 7104 Hall Road with the following conditions of approval. The rezoning request will be placed on Thursday, November 6th, Board of Commissioners meeting for consideration with the potential for a public hearing and second and final reading on Thursday, December 4th. There's representatives tonight who can answer any questions you have.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion to approve this item.
Move for approval?
Second.
Ms. Anderson and Dawson. All right. If you will, state your name and address.
Tim Mangrum, 7326 Fernville Road, Fairview.
Thank you. So, question on the frontage. You couldn't achieve the frontage with an RS20, even though the lots will be more in line with an RS20 size? Is that what I understand?
Correct, because the shape of this property is, as you can see it on the map there, it's uniquely shaped. And I've got a concept on this as well, and it does show 6 lots. The smallest lot is 19,116 feet. Our original intent when we submitted the rezoning application was we thought we could meet the R20 on all the lots. We just needed the narrower front. But that's before we got the survey back and realized that Hall Road does not have a dedicated right-of-way for this piece of property. So with that said, we lost 41 hundredths of an acre. So 17,740 square feet is what we'll be dedicating to the city for a right-of-way for Hall Road. So that caused us to lose, out of the 6 lots, 3 of them are 20,000 or bigger. One's 19,797 feet, one's 19,624 feet, and one is 19,116 square feet.
Thank you. Staff, age-old question. If this were to be rezoned to RS15 and then Mr. Mangrum, for whatever reason, sells the property or it's in the hands of someone else who wants to build on actual RS15, do we know how many lots that makes it?
Roughly 9.
Okay,
on
so we're going from
theoretical density.
6 to 9. Okay.
With the frontage that he has, it would be impossible to get 9 in.
Understood.
Mr. Mangrum and I met about this property, and I'm real big on let's try to get things to fit within our regulations and not be asking for a whole lot of variances and special conditions to properties. And so like he noted, R20 probably works for this property with an exception or variance granted for lot widths. He can come very close to the minimum lot size of R20. But the RS15 lot width, and just so you know what we're talking, RS15 has a minimum lot width of 75 feet, and R20 has a minimum lot width of 100 feet. And so just looking at the road frontage piece that he has, trying to get those lot widths in, the concept that he has he's put together is about as many as you could get on there.
And I've got copies of this concept for each one of y'all if you want to see it.
Would you like to see it?
Why not?
Yeah, might as well.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Dawson?
so she asked you how many lots?
9.
Or
The
you said it was
theoretical
almost
density-
impossible to have 9.
It is, just
So-
based on the frontage, but the theoretical density, looking at RS15 is like 1 home per third of an acre.
Correct. So
And you have 3 acres, so the theoretical density is that, but it would be very challenging to get that onto this piece of property based on the shape and the road frontage that you have. Theoretical does not always align with Fairview's beautifully shaped parcels and topography challenges.
Mr. Mangrum, Lot 6, is it entered off of Cox Pike?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Mr. King?
I mean, just to be clear, we could, if this was zoned for RS20, I mean, 5 lots would work on this property, right? I mean, just because it's RS20 means that there would be a potential for 6 lots, doesn't mean you have to put 6 lots on the lot. If it doesn't work for 6 lots, then 6 lots probably doesn't work on the property.
Is that a fair statement?
Mr. King, if you'll give us just a moment. Keith, can we try to work this document camera? I know, we got it fixed the other day. We'll see if it works. To answer your question, Mr. King, off of a cursory review of this draft layout, he would likely lose a lot off of Hall Road to meet the 100-foot lot width.
I guess to me, that is just my opinion, you know, that's kind of part of it. If you know, the maximum amount of lots allowed per the density doesn't work on the property, just because of the shape of the property doesn't mean we should rezone the property to a smaller density or a higher density just to make six lots work.
Aren't you glad we got that fixed? Look at that.
I've never seen that used before.
It just, I mean, that's a recommendation that y'all would have to make if that seems to fall in alignment. The, you know, staff recommendation comes based on what the applicant submits and the process of what we believe should be how we follow the documents. And so if, you know, I would prefer to not have variances being asked for and being granted and having a lot of special cases throughout town. I would rather have, if the applicant is seeking RS-15, then bring that to you and explain why it is RS-15 as the request. But
I agree with you 100%. I think if this was, you know, in the plan to be designated RS-20, then I think we should keep it as RS-20. And if 5 lots is what works on the property, then 5 lots is all that can work on the property.
Are there any other questions? All right, hearing none. Ms. Howell, if you will, call a vote.
And just for clarification, Mr. Dawson, did you second?
Yes.
Okay. Mayor Anderson?
Aye.
Mr. Dawson?
No.
Ms. Schilling?
No.
Mr. Ritt?
Hey.
Ms. Schulist?
Aye.
Mr. Callie?
Aye.
Mr. Pape?
No.
Mr. King?
No.
Vice Mayor McDonald?
Aye.
Motion fails 4-5, is that correct?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda, item F, PC Resolution PC 4325. Conceptual Plan, The Cove, 0 Crowcut Road, Map 18, Parcel 31. Current zoning RS-15. Property owner Northcutt Custom Homes, LLC. Mr. Greer, if you will, read a staff report, please.
Kale Newport with M2 Group has submitted on behalf of Northcutt Custom Homes a concept plan for The Cove, which is a residential subdivision that contains 50 single-family detached residential lots, 2 public rights-of-way, 2 open spaces, and all necessary stormwater, water, and wastewater infrastructure. The 2 open spaces contain 1.37 acres and 0.66 acres. The larger open space contains both the mail kiosk as well as a location for sanitary pump station. That is a required improvement per Water Authority of Dixon County. The property is currently zoned to RS15 and contains a total of 28.75 acres. The proposed development will disturb 23 acres of the property. The property is located on FEMA Firm Panel 47187C0020F, and no portion of the property is located within the flood hazard area Zone X. The concept plan does not show this development to be constructed in phases, so no phasing plan is provided within the concept. All surrounding properties, except one, are located within Williamson County and are zoned MGA 5. The one exception is the property at 1385 Highway 96 North that is located to the west and northwest of the subject property. The property at 1385 Highway 96 North is in the municipal boundary of Fairview and is zoned RS40. All surrounding properties contain single-family residential land uses. This property was recently annexed and rezoned to RS15. The Fairview Forward 2040 Comprehensive Plan designates the parcel that contains the Cove development as residential high neighborhood. The residential high neighborhood future land use classification lists 5 zone districts and 4 land uses as appropriate. The 5 zone districts are RS5, RS8, RM8, RM12, and RM20. The 4 appropriate land uses are multifamily, single-family, and civic institutional. The current zoning of RS15 is not in alignment with the 2040 plan. However, the RS15 zone district is in place and permits less development in terms of lots and density than any of the appropriate zone districts per the 2040 plan. The proposed Cove development is a single-family detached residential development, which is in alignment with the residential high neighborhood classification. Staff recommends the Planning Commission approve the concept plan for the Cove residential subdivision to create a 50-lot, single-family detached residential subdivision, 2 public rights-of-way, 2 open spaces, and all necessary utilities. There's a representative tonight to answer any questions you may have.
Make a motion to approve PC 4325.
Second.
Callie King. All right, would the representative please come forward? State your name and address for the record.
Tim Mangrum, 7326 Fernville Road, Fairview.
Sir, if you will also state your name and address, please.
Cale Newport, M2 Group. Our place of business is 1881 General George Patton Drive in Franklin, Tennessee.
Thank you. Can you confirm that this is all a single-phase construction? It will not be broken up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I know the recommended open space for lots 51 through 50 is 10%. This has 7%. And I wasn't sure that, it looks like the amenity is in the middle, but I wasn't sure what that is. Could you describe what the amenity is supposed to be for this project?
Yes, we're still working through some of the elements of design for that amenity area, but the intention is for it to be a park, an area for families to hang out and, for children to play, stuff of the sort.
Any questions or comments from the Planning Commission?
Madam Chair,
Mr. King?
I just have a question for the staff, and I apologize that I'm not familiar with this process, but in my time at the Planning Commission, this is the first time I think I've seen a conceptual plan. Will we see this again as a master development, or is this kind of the same phase as a master development plan?
So, per our subdivision regulations, it's Article 2, 102.4. There's an approval procedure for a major subdivision. And it does state in here, a major subdivision may be accomplished in accordance with the following procedure. It does not say shall. Our new development code does have a much cleaner process, but this process that's laid out may be utilized, and it has in here a step for conceptual plan submission and review and a planning commission action on the conceptual plan. And so this is a opportunity that most of the developers that we've seen come through have not taken advantage of bringing in a concept plan and having this opportunity to just openly discuss with the planning commission and receive a vote on their item prior to bringing in a residential development plan, which would be the next step in this process. And then the planning commission would take action on the residential development plan as well.
Okay, so we will see this again.
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. King, where this differs from most cities and jurisdictions I'm familiar with is most of the time when there's a concept plan option, there's no vote. It's just pure feedback, which creates an issue of when vested property rights apply since there's a vote. So it's just a different sort of process here in Fairview, and I think our new code cleans it up.
Okay.
I don't care for the process myself, but it is what it is.
Okay. Well, that being said, on the conceptual plan, I mean, I think one of my biggest things I was just looking at reviewing this plan was the lots backing up to Croquette Road. Just wondering what kind of buffer fence, if there's going to be a something from the development put in there, or that was going to be mandated by the homeowner. I mean, I definitely think we need something there to kind of delineate between the just to Croquette Road from these backyards.
Yeah, so we have discussed that, and the intent would be to put behind, what is that, 27, 28, and 29, no, 25, 26, 27, because the back of those houses would face Croquette, would put a nice landscape buffer opposed to a fence, because the houses are going to be slightly higher than the current road elevation of Croquette. So we thought with landscaping, it would grow taller than a 6-foot fence and provide more privacy in the future. And to touch on your concept plan, we don't always do concepts. We just thought we would do one to let you guys see this, give us your feedback so we can give you our best plan going forward. So hopefully when we come back for a development plan and then construction plans, that'll be seamless.
No, I think that's great. I'm glad to have it. I just was unfamiliar with it, was where my question came from. But I guess that would be my comment is when you guys do come back, I'd love to see that detailed out, that buffer zone on the backside of those lots.
Madam Chair?
Mayor Anderson.
After reviewing this concept plan with Mr. Northcutt, Mr. Mangrum, I love this layout. We spoke about the central location of this open space as a gathering point for the that community there and the neighborhood. I think it's laid out nicely. 2 entrances, one smooth in and out, great detention to the back, and the open space. I love the way it's been laid out, and I think it's going to be a nice space for the neighbors to gather and have community there. I like the size of the houses and lots. I think we're, we need more plans like this for young families. I think this is a great concept for, people starting out and young families starting out and just having a sense of community. So I really like this plan. I like his idea. We've had long conversation about this, and I just, I'm glad that you did show us the concept. I think in our new zoning ordinance, this is something I'd like to see because I think it's a lot easier for people on the Planning Commission who may not be in the construction industry to be able just to kind of see what the plan is. So I thank you for that.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Dawson.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Mayor. Fairview, small-town community, and community is family, right? And if every subdivision could have a gathering place for the families and community, would love to see more of that. So thank you for bringing this forward. Having it right in the middle of the subdivision where everybody can meet, for picnics and all the rest, where the kids can go as a gathering place, is right on. So I hope we see more of that with the subdivisions and developments that we have. I hope we see a lot more of that. So thank you.
Madam Chair?
Mr. McDonald?
I may be just missing it. Is there any topography issues with this lot as far as what critical lots or anything like that that need to be discussed or talked about?
If we have prepared somewhat of a preliminary grading plan with this. I am not certain if it was included with the concept plan submittal. If it's not here, you will see it in the
It is.
development plan. But we have done some preliminary grading analysis, and we have a good idea for how we're going to achieve all of the drainage concerns and other grading issues that may arise on the site.
We do have, in our packet, it did include the preliminary grading. Critical lots are not noted, though, and I think that's probably because it's not required at this level. Is that correct?
At a conceptual plan, I would not expect to see critical lots. I'd expect to see them at a development plan where they have a little bit more formalized of a design. Just for everyone's knowledge, critical lots and how we treat regular lots today are no different. We require the same information on a plot plan for a critical lot and for a regular lot. And so as far as noting them on a plan, it is a notation. It does not change the impact downstream of anything as far as what they'd have to do during construction.
Thank you. Mr. Dawson?
Just one more thing. I think this is a great venue. This is one more opportunity for the community to see the concept of what we're about to build in the city of Fairview. So I applaud you for bringing it to the Planning Commission in this format. And I think it's just a great opportunity for developers to bring that concept to the citizens, and the citizens to have feedback before we actually vote on it to send it to the BOC. So I think it's a great concept, and want to thank you.
Just to clarify one statement, Mr. Dawson, this will not be going to the BOC. This is a regular subdivision that will have a concept plan with a vote tonight and a residential development plan that will come before the Planning Commission.
There you go. Even better. Thank you.
Or question on that. Our council advised that normally these concept plans are not voted on. So if we are voting on it tonight, what is it necessarily voting for or against?
You're just voting that you approve of the concept. So, for example, if, I think, Mr. King, you said you want to see some more offense or something, you may want to add that condition to the approval. You may want to amend the motion on the floor to say that's what you'd like to see when it comes back. Or if any of you have other things like that, then you may want to add it to the approval if you're going to approve it.
Mr. Greer, do the subdivision regulations as it is today require the buffering like Mr. King mentioned? Is that part of a requirement, or is it a nice to have?
That is a nice to have item. The requirement in the subdivision regulations only require a buffer whenever it is against different zoning. These are single-family homes, backing up to single-family homes. So there is no buffer requirement. It is not a pod. There is no buffer requirement for a subdivision by right.
Understood.
I'll make a motion to amend PC 4325 to add a buffer zone, or add some buffer to lots 25, 26, 27 when you guys come back for the master development plan or the residential development plan.
Second.
All right. Any other comments to add to that before we take a vote on that?
Yeah, it would be discussion based on that specific amendment proposed. So if there's any discussion on it, you should have it now, and then if there's not discussion, then call the vote on the amendment only, and then we'll be to the main item as amended or not.
Okay, hearing no further comments to this amendment, Ms. Howell, if you will call a vote for this amendment, please.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Mr. Pape,
Aye.
Mr. Callie,
Aye.
Ms. Eulis,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Ms. Schilling,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
Motion for the amendment passes 9-0. Are there any other questions or comments for the agenda item before we vote on that?
Madam Chair, I have one short question.
Mr. Ritt?
Is this going to be provided city water, or is this well system?
We will be getting city water.
Okay, and the house to the south, is that individual on well water, or is that individual on city water?
We're not certain. Are you speaking about the adjacent property to the south?
Correct.
I could not say for certain. However, there is a fire hydrant just across the road from that residence, so it's likely on city water, but I couldn't say for certain.
So the reason for my question is if that person does have a well and you're doing quite a bit of elevation work, and if you look at the topography, there is some water that kind of pools up somewhere north of that person's property. If that's going to affect the aquifer or their water, that would be a concern of mine. I'd like to have that resolved if possible. And it could be just a simple research on that. I just can't see it on these designs. Thank you.
We will certainly look into it.
Any other questions or further comments? Hearing none, Ms. Howell, if you will, call the vote, please.
And this is on the main item as amended, for
Correct.
clarity purposes for the record.
Mr. Callie,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Mr. Pape,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Ms. Eulis,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Ms. Schilling, Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Motion passes 9-0. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, item G, PC Resolution PC 4425, Final Plat, Eras Estate Subdivision, Map 42, Parcel 77.06, current zoning RS 40, property owner Sheila Taylor. Mr. Greer, if you will, give us your staff report, please.
Chapdelaine and Associates has submitted on behalf of Miss Sheila Taylor a final plat for 7314 Taylor Road. The property at 7314 Taylor Road contains 3.27 acres and is zoned RS40. It was recently annexed into the city of Fairview. The submitted final plat is requesting to subdivide the current parcel into 3 individual parcels that will be used for single-family detached residential uses in the future. The proposed subdivision of the property at 7314 Taylor Road will create 3 individual lots, with two of the lots having a size of 43,603 square feet and the other lot having a size of 55,449 square feet. All 3 lots exceed the minimum lot size required for RS40. Staff recommends the Planning Commission approve the final plat for 7314 Taylor Road to create 3 residential lots on tax map 042, parcel 77.06.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion to approve this item.
Make a motion to approve PC 4425.
Second.
Callie Pape. Is there a representative here that wants to speak on the project? All right. Are there any questions for staff? Comments from the Planning Commission? All right, hearing none. Ms. Howe, if you will call the vote, please.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Mr. Pape.
Aye.
Mr. King.
Aye.
Ms. Schilling. Mr. Dawson.
Aye.
Mr. Ritt.
Aye.
Ms. Shoelist.
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald.
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Motion passes 9-0. Next item on the agenda, item H, PC Resolution PC 4525. Final plat, Phase 2, Gary E. McDonald subdivision, map 22, parcel 144.02 and 145.01. Current zoning RS40, parcel 144.02, R20, parcel 145.02. Property owner Mark Williams. Mr. Greer, if you will give us your staff report, please.
Chapter Lane and Associates Land Surveying has submitted on behalf of Mr. Williams a final plat for 7605 Hurley Lane and 825 Highway 96 North. The lots at 7605 Hurley Lane and 825 Highway 96 North contain 2.68 total acres. The parcel at 7605 Hurley Lane is zoned R20, and the parcel at 825 Highway 96 is zoned RS40. Both properties are located on FEMA Firm Panel 47187C0135F, and no portion of either property is located within a flood hazard area. The proposed subdivision of the property at 7605 Hurley Lane and 825 Highway 96 North is to take a portion of each existing parcel and create a third parcel that fronts onto Hurley Lane. The proposed parcel will contain 0.552 acres, 24,000 square feet. Due to the original parcel having different property zoning, the proposed lot will be split zoned RS40 and R20. Staff has informed the owner they will need to submit a rezoning request for the new lot following the approval and recording of this final plat. The owner has indicated they will submit a rezoning request to zone the proposed lot to R20. All surrounding properties are located within the Fairview municipal boundaries and contain single-family residential land uses. The properties to the west are zoned RS40, while the property to the east across Highway 96 are zoned RS40 and Commercial 1. The property to the south across Hurley Lane is zoned RSM40. The Fairview Forward 2040 Comprehensive Plan designates the properties at 7605 Hurley Lane and 825 Highway 96 North as rural corridor. The rural corridor future land use classification notes the only appropriate land uses are agriculture and single-family detached residential. The rural settlement classification lists 3 zone districts as appropriate. The 3 zone districts are AR15A, AR5A, and RS40. As noted earlier in this report, the proposed lot will need to be rezoned, which the new owner has indicated they're requesting the proposed lot to be zoned RS20. The R20 zone district is not in alignment with the rural corridor future land use classification. However, the property at 7605 Hurley Lane is currently zoned R20, and there's Commercial 1 zoning to the east across Highway 96. Also, the proposed lot is only large enough to permit a single residential structure and will not present the opportunity for subdivision into additional lots. Staff recommends the Planning Commission approve the final plat for 7605 Hurley Lane and 825 Highway 96 North to create a residential lot from a portion of tax map 022, parcel 144.02, and a portion of tax map 022, parcel 145.01, as resubmitted on September 25th, 2025. There is a representative tonight to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Greer.
Make a motion to approve PC 4525.
Second.
Was that Mr. King? McDonald? Okay. Callie McDonald. All right. If the representative would come forward. If you will, state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Linda Williams, 7606 Hurley Lane, Fairview, Tennessee.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant or for staff?
Madam Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
Ethan, should we not go through the rezoning process before we issue a final plat? I don't agree with issuing a final plat before we go through rezoning.
Yeah, we had discussed that. We had made the suggestion that they do the plat first, since that way we'd actually know exactly what was being rezoned versus them requesting to rezone all of the property or trying to determine the specific area that needed to be rezoned. So that's where we had come forward with the idea that they would do the plat first. That way we knew exactly what was being requested for rezoning versus the entirety of the properties being requested to be rezoned to R20. Without knowing exactly a particular lot, it would just be, well, we need this part, we think this part needs to be rezoned to R20 versus doing this, we would know exactly the parcel that would need to be rezoned in this exact area that would need to be rezoned.
Madam Chairman, I have a follow-up question that's more legal, I guess, Mr. Carter. In this situation, could we put a condition on it that we approve the plat, but it's not recorded until it's rezoned? Would that be appropriate, or is that getting too complicated? So, the plat's going to create a lot that's got split zoning right now. So if we approve the plat tonight, it has to move forward with the zoning. Is it appropriate to put a condition on the approval of the plat that it's not recorded until the rezoning is completed?
You guys have a, that's one of first impression, Mr. Pape, for me. Mr. Planner, do you have a?
I'm just trying to kind of solve the problem, the question that the mayor had.
I've never seen that be a specific condition, that it be held from recording until rezoning is approved. I'm not saying you could or couldn't do it. I've just never experienced that myself.
I'm a little bit uncomfortable, I think. I don't know what the legal reason is, Mr. Pape. Not having looked at it, but I'm uncomfortable approving something with that kind of condition that's a final plat, I guess, is my gut reaction.
So different question then. We're not creating a non-conforming lot by having a lot that's got two different zonings on it?
I don't think so. You just have a lot that has a split zone that's, how big is the lot once it's?
Half an acre.
24,033 square feet.
Yeah, and so basically it's unusable until it's rezoned, right?
Correct. It would be split zoned with R20, so it would be non-conforming to R20 and RS40, which it would also be non-conforming.
Yeah, and so that's unusual in itself, creating a final plat with a non-conforming lot, but I think it can be done. It's an unusual problem. I can't.
Have we seen a site plan before? Was this approved previously by the Planning Commission?
No.
Was it
No.
approved by the staff level at a site?
This, Keith, if you will put ClickShare up, just so we can zoom
I
in a
can't
little
fault the
bit.
recommendation from planning.
So this original marker right there down to this circle marker here is the original property line between lots 2 and 4. Those were the original 2 lots with a divider here in the middle. Lot 3 was created by pulling a little bit of Lot 4 and a little bit of Lot 2 together to create Lot 3. So with that, It ultimately, the property owner is looking to create a half-acre lot in the middle there. Lot 4 is zoned R20. Lot 2 is zoned RS40. So pulling a little bit of each of those, we at our staff level felt that it was the most appropriate to plat it and get an exact location of Lot 3 and what the bearings were for that lot. Have it split zone for the time being, and then have them request rezoning. They could request either R20 or less or more dense, RS15 or R10. Anything that has a minimum lot size of that they would meet. But with that, how it is today, essentially an unbuildable lot. So, Mr. Pape, I understand where you're coming from, but for us to have something, an actual parcel to zone, the parcel has to be created. It's kind of a chicken or the egg situation.
Right, so, I mean, so when we create this, it's the owner's risk. They know if it doesn't get rezoned, they have an unbuildable lot, so it really doesn't matter.
I guess hindsight being 20/20, what I would have preferred to see maybe is have the rezone run, at the same time as the final plat's being approved, and so have both the processes concurrent. But that's not what happened here. But I think you're right, Mr. Pape. It's something that the homeowner or the lot owner is requesting, and so they're the ones that are really at risk that it's going to be one or the other, and ultimately that rezone you'll make a recommendation on it, and then it will be before the BOC. It's just a unique problem. So,
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Mr. Ritt?
If you look at the screen on the northwest side of Lot 4, it looks as if the existing structure slightly goes into Lot 3. Is there any issues with that and the offset?
This may be the best answered by the owner, but what was communicated to staff was that the existing structure is planned to be demolished.
Thank you.
It's actually a trailer that's going to be moved.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Mr. King?
Does that go for the shop that's outside of the minimum building setback line as well?
That's going to be demolished.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
So we've got a trailer that's going to be moved and a shop that's going to be demolished. What are the plans for the two lots, Ms. Williams?
At this time, no plans. We don't have any plans for it right now.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Dawson?
So I guess the question is, what is the danger to the city if we rezone this? All of the onus, it sounds like, is on the owner of the property. Just my thought. So, and that area is, we can have RS20 there. That is in the 2040 comprehensive plan, et cetera, or they?
I think it was RS40.
RS40?
AR 5 and 15.
But it is currently R20. Okay.
It is currently R20 for
that one
the corner lot
piece.
there.
That parcel
Madam Chair,
145.02.
Just a point of clarification.
Mayor Anderson.
We're not rezoning this. This is a final plat.
Correct.
So that's my concern, is we're issuing a final plat without a rezoning recommendation to the board that may never happen. So in my opinion, we're putting the cart before the horse. This isn't a rezoning, it's actually approving a final plat on this.
It would be subdividing the two parcels to create an additional parcel.
Okay.
Today. And Mr. Dawson, you are correct. It would be on the owner to bring their parcel in for a rezoning.
Okay.
Which has been communicated to them.
Got it.
Mr. Greer, remind us, if this fails tonight, what is the wait to reapply? Could it be just
For a
next month?
final plat?
No, for a tandem rezone and final plat. If they wanted to come back and do it.
I mean, they could bring a zoning in at any point that they would like to. Our staff recommendation was for them to plat this out so that we would have the exact, calls, and they would have be able to give a clear legal description for what parcel needed to be rezoned.
Sure. I think it's sounding like we, as a planning commission, would prefer a tandem rezone and final plat simultaneously.
That being said, I'm comfortable with how it's being handled. My comment was more to if this happens again, which it's such an odd fact pattern. I doubt it's going to reoccur. But if it were to happen again, where we had the same problem, then to run both the processes at the same time. That being said, I think if the Planning Commission approves this final plat, the lot owner has two lots that they can do something with, and a third one that's not usable until it's rezoned one way or the other. So I think the risk is on the landowner, not the Planning Commission. So again, I can't take fault with how it's been handled. I can quibble about how the process is
Sure.
run, but I think it's just quibbling.
Madam Chair.
Vice Chair McDonald? Sorry, Vice Mayor.
Don't take that away from Jeff.
Oh, sorry, nope, never.
I just wanted to throw my opinion out there. I think there's some valid concerns and points here, but, if we were talking about a 30-acre piece or something like that, there'd be a little bit more concern on my end. I think the fact that the city doesn't have much risk, it all falls on the property owner to assume that. And the fact, in my opinion, that staff recommended to the applicant to take this road, I think it would be unfair to the applicant not to take action on it one way or the other, since she did follow direction of city staff to get to where we're at.
As a matter of equity, I agree.
Just to note also, if we had brought this in with a rezoning request at the, concurrent, this item would be before you tonight, and you would only be voting on a recommendation for zoning. That would still be another 2-month-long process. And so you would have had approved a final plat or voted on a final plat prior to the zoning being confirmed by the Board of Commissioners. So I know that request has been brought up several times of bringing it in together. It's almost impossible to bring those two in together because of the different boards that have to vote on those items.
Madam Chair,
Mayor Anderson?
Mr. Greer, has staff ever made a positive recommendation that the board has said no to?
Yes.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions, comments? Hearing none. Ms. Howe, if you will, call a vote.
Mr. Cowley?
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald?
Aye.
Ms. Schilling?
Aye.
Mr. Dawson?
Aye.
Mr. Ritt?
Aye.
Ms. Schulist?
Aye.
Mr. Pape?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mayor Anderson?
No.
Motion passes 8-1. Thank you, ma'am. All right, moving on to reports for discussion and information. City planning staff.
Nothing tonight. Thank you all for your consideration.
Okay. City manager.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
All right. City engineer.
Also, nothing tonight.
All right. City attorney.
I appreciate how this board works together. I think these meetings, at least my perception of them, that they go very well, and that's a credit to the chair, but really a credit to all of you. The input that you have and the thought that you put into each of the items is apparent, and so even when there's disagreement, it's being handled well. So kudos to all of you.
Thank you. All right, Planning Commission Roundtable. Start over here with Mr. King.
I actually do have a quick question for the staff. Just a clarification regarding item D on tonight's agenda. I mean, the big concern there was obviously the retention pond or the detention pond not performing the way it was designed. If with the new design that does not perform the way it is supposed to, I guess who will be held liable? And I assume that the bond will be held until that's remediated.
Just want to clarify, the pond in question is a pond that exists in Phase 2. It is not changing in its design. It is as is. Now, it's not been, the as-built for it have not been reviewed and approved, and it's not city acceptance of infrastructure. It's not at that point. So there still is going to be a check that's involved with that. So as far as bringing it up to certain standards, yes, that can occur.
I mean, I think just to help ease the mind of the citizens that express their concern that there will be a check and there will be a...
Yeah, and there are many reasons why a detention pond can malfunction. And so if they are noticing, odd things happening, please send pictures, videos to staff. We have an entire team that goes and inspects stormwater complaints. We have prioritization, submit the complaint on Covewell. It's new to me, apologies. So yeah, please send that. We'll get somebody right out there to take a look, figure out what's going on. It could be a clogged dewatering orifice. It could be pipe failure in the bank. We hope not, but we'll check all those things just to make sure.
Okay, great. Other than that, thank you to the staff. You guys always do a great job. Appreciate you.
Mr. Dawson.
No comment.
Ms. Schilling. Yep. Mayor Anderson.
With our switch over to from paper to online with our agendas, when we get the paper agenda, could it say PC agenda and it have the date on it?
Sure thing. We can work on that. I know Rachel's got it worked out for BOC
right,
agendas.
the BOC, and
we'll get it worked out for planning too.
It's just, anyway, it just makes it easier. So, just
So-
like tonight, it was like, oh, the date, and you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Just
it's
so-
just easier if we see PC agenda and the date, because it's like right when we start, it's, it just helps.
Just
And
so
then-
you are aware, sorry, Mayor, if I can, on the electronic version of the agenda, up on the right-hand corner, if you pull it off of the website, there are links to all of your City of Fairview emails. So anybody who pulls up the agenda has everybody's email right there, and they can click on it. So just be consistently looking at your email. We've had a few people stop in the office over the last week who have tried to reach out, who have felt that they haven't been heard by reaching out to elected officials and appointed planning commissioners and BOZA members as well. So just make sure you're taking a look at your email. And that was the only piece that I had, but everybody has your emails on the agenda when it's published.
And one other thing, so PC agenda and then the date, So when we go down to the agenda items, normally they have the acreage. Is that correct? Because I just noticed that you were having to, I mean, I'm not trying to be nitpicky, but I like to know the total acreage, and usually I think on the agenda item, it shows the total acreage.
I have included that in the past. I've been trying to refine what that line is so that we can use it more consistently and change what the application type is, and then you have a consistent formula across there. If you would like to see acreage, I can make sure that that is on every
Well,
item.
I mean, I think that, as we switched over to this, that may be something that, like I said, not being nitpicky, I'd just like to know in the project what the total acreage is, and normally it's on the item and then just the heading.
For me, I tried to put things in there that that are searchable terms. Former owner of the property, current zoning, parcel, tax map, searchable terms, so whenever we're going back through historical items. Acreage is not, it's a hard number to try and keep up with. So I can add that in there and make sure that it's on there for all this.
Thank you to staff. I appreciate you. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Anderson. Mr. Ritt,
Nothing to add, thank you.
Vice Mayor McDonald.
That was not a correction for my sake. You gave me the vice chair, which is Mr. Pape.
Sure.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Mr. Callie.
Just a thank you to the staff as always.
Vice Chair Pape.
Thank you, Ms. Chairman. The only thing is the new agenda is great. I love having all the access to it and online, and I think it's way better for the public to be able to pull stuff up. So that's working great. So that's it for me tonight. Thanks.
Thank you to staff as always. Yes.
I do have
Mr.
one other item, sorry, and you'll see it on the last slide on here, but next month, our meeting, the second Tuesday of the month, is November 11th. The city of Fairview is closed in honor of Veterans Day that day. So our planning commission meeting next month is on the third Tuesday, November 18th. Sorry, Ms. Schulis.
Quite all right. A couple of questions for me. I do love, as Mr. Pape stated, I love the new agenda, how easy it is to use. When I print it out, because I printed this out myself and then you also printed it out, the text is very small. And I have good reading vision, but I am
You can ask the
mispronouncing
mayor
some-
next to you. That's why she has that light up there.
I've been through this whole thing with VOC and now, yeah.
Rachel and I have been working on trying
I
to
agree.
figure that part out.
Yeah, it's tiny.
I don't know why. I don't know why it prints out the way that it
true.
does. Prints it out almost like a picture on a page instead of a full page. So we'll work with the software company and get
least
everything
a-
worked out.
Font size of a 12.
I agree. It is very small. My iPad, I keep zoomed in over here so I can read it, and I have my readers on, so.
Other question, the previous software we used, IDT, you could go back and look at previous submissions and look at previous site plans and conceptuals, if they did them, things like that. And I would like to be able to do that, especially for like the city center. We were approving a final plat for phase one, the commercial, and I wanted to go back and look at what did we originally approve? What did it look like? Things like that. Is there a way, is IDT still active?
No, it is not still active. We do have documents from there. I'm happy to add that in if that's more information that you'd like to see. I mean, it's a PDF attachment. That is the easiest way for me to just drop it in here under the PC resolution item and then shoot it out. That way you have those links to go back and look at older plan sets.
And maybe if nobody else needs it, maybe I can just personally ask for it.
More information in the public is better.
Okay.
I'm happy to share anything that has been approved.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Question.
sorry, before we adjourn. Ethan, could you speak to the joint workshop on our zoning ordinance that's going to happen next month?
Our expectation is to have the final draft of the development code prior or pretty close to the November 18th meeting. And prior to the November 18th meeting, we will have if the development code is finalized, has a final draft, we will have a joint workshop between the Planning Commission, the Board of Commissioners, and our third-party TPUDC, who's been drafting our code, to come in and give us some education, some information, and help answer some questions that y'all may have.
And that is on the 18th.
It will be on the 18th prior to the regular Planning Commission meeting.
You'll let us know what time.
I will, as soon as I have some confirmation on when the final draft will be
Sure.
completed.
That made me think of another question. You know, last Planning Commission, we heard from citizens that there's some folks that feel like they haven't been heard when they've submitted questions or concerns about this draft. I'm assuming that all of that's been forwarded to TUPDC, to you.
Yeah, we've had a public meeting a couple Fridays ago with our, a couple Mondays ago. It was a Monday, with our development review committee. And we went through citizens' concerns. It was open to the public. We were here from 9 to 4:15-ish. We had one citizen that showed up. They were here for about 40 minutes, from about 9 to 9:40, and then no citizens were here the rest of the day. We all sat around this table right here with our microphones on, discussing code for whatever that is, 6 hours, 7 hours. It was a long day. We went through a lot of citizens' concerns. A lot of people had submitted items to our office that we had gone through. We had made edits to the document and went through and kind of asked our committee, us as staff, Kevin, Curtis, and myself, and Marissa was here. She took minutes. The minutes will be coming out here shortly. They would have come out last week, but Miss Marissa was on fall break with her children. And so we went through and asked our review committee kind of what their thoughts on our ideas on how we interpreted all of the corrections and different items that were provided to staff, and bounced back a bunch of items. Once we get, I'm working on formalizing kind of a cleaner sheet of what I have into a document that I will send out to you to let you see what things we've asked for changes from TPUDC with. And then that will be provided along with the final draft and the minutes to all of you and publicly prior to this joint work session.
Great. And citizens are encouraged to attend our joint workshop, but there
Correct.
won't be an opportunity for,
There will not be an opportunity at the joint workshop for them to speak, but during the adoption process, we will have a public hearing for the citizens to speak at the Planning Commission. We will have a public hearing for the citizens to speak at the first reading at the Board of Commissioners, and we will have a public hearing for the citizens to speak at the second and final reading at the Board of Commissioners. So there will be 3 public hearings with this adoption, which is uncommon. Typically, there's only 1 at the second and final reading. But to give the citizens as much of a voice as we can, and for everyone who's voting on this to be able to hear from the citizens as much as we can, we felt it would be best to have 3 public hearings instead of just 1.
thank you. Go ahead.
Sorry, before we do that. So I appreciate that. You know, the challenge is this is a very involved code. If we have significant comment those nights and we decide we want a lot of that incorporated in, do we pause then and incorporate and put out a new draft?
You are welcome to make any vote. There would be 3 ways to vote: approve, deny, or defer.
And then just to clarify, you guys are going to put out the minutes of your meeting and then also kind of a report. Are you guys going to list kind of all the citizen comments that were made and why or why not you guys recommended them to be incorporated into the ordinance?
I have a fairly lengthy list of those items. Most of the ones that we felt were inconsequential to the ultimate goal of the ordinance were placed in. Like, for example, having a 16-foot garage door on a side entry garage. That doesn't seem like a big issue. The code currently reads that you have to have 2 9-foot garage doors. It's side entry, you're not seeing that from the roadway. That seems kind of inconsequential. We added that in. There are several items that were requested of us that after our staff review of the request, Tennessee state law does not allow municipalities to impose some of those items onto development. Kevin could probably speak to it a little better than I. He did a lot of research as we were going through the items, and there are several things that are within the ordinance that are pulled directly from state law that we have to follow, and we can't alter those things, and some of them are not super awesome as far as being really picky and choosy, but some of them are very just, it's law, so we have to follow what the law is. There were several things in there that people had asked for that were just, you can't change state law from a municipal level. We received a lot of comments directly related to the Rural Retreat Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. I think there were, Mr. Carter, you probably have a better count than I, but I think that there were 65 or 70 emails with letters directly from concerning that property in question and the Rural Retreat standards. I would say that that was the bulk of what we got. Outside of that, I think we had ended up with like 25 citizens, elected officials, and planning commission members. There's 9 of you, plus 3 other elected officials. So several of you gave us comments. Several elected officials gave us comments. And then the rest were general citizen population. And some folks had some really good ideas that we incorporated right in and felt that they would be great. And some of the ideas fall outside of the scope of what the city can actually administer from our municipality. So I will get a list together. I know for you, Mr. Pape, particularly, you gave us a lengthy list. I do have several answers for you. I will get those over to you. But it was ultimately a good process. I wish more folks would have came out for our public meeting.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think, there wasn't much notice put out. I was traveling that day. I would have loved to have been here the whole day, but by the time I saw the notice, it was too late. I had a work trip planned, so that was disappointing to say the least. I think I saw it 2 or 3 days beforehand, so that that would have been an ideal situation. I would have loved to have sat here all day and talked to you guys about all the things and participated in that. But I don't think there was a lot of notice put out for that. Unless I'm wrong, unless I missed it, I could be wrong. So, anyway.
I believe that you're accurate. I think it went out on Thursday and we met on Monday. I believe.
Ethan, if we're going to continue to approve and improve as a commission, I think getting comments from the citizens in this manner would be helpful. Because we all have our different ways of thinking, but if we need to think like the citizens as well, even though we are citizens here, any of that information would be valuable.
I think really communicating, and I don't know how we crack this egg, right? Getting that information, like the meeting that you guys just had, I wasn't looking for that meeting as well. I remember back to the 2040 Comprehensive Plan, taking out ads in the paper, doing everything we could to get as many people involved. And How do we do that? This is a super important document. We don't want to miss anybody. So how do we make sure that, you know, when the city is out there talking to people, that's always a talking point, the next meeting, specifically for this document?
So we had one of the reasons that we chose TPUDC as our consultant on this is because they were the only folks that came in with a public process. All of the other companies that submitted for the RFQ submitted to rewrite the document. We'll help you answer any questions to the boards, and we'll move on and improve and get out of here. TPUDC was the only group that came in with a public process in mind. They were here last year, did a Codapalooza. They were sat up in this room. Their entire office staff worked out of City Hall last year for a week, where anyone could come in and answer any questions. They had meetings throughout the day. They had meetings every night for an entire week, answering questions and going through the process. I know several of you attended those items last year. That was last September. They took all of that information that they garnered from the public. I think we had somewhere around 100 to 150 people that showed up in totality for those events. And they took the information that those folks provided, and we discussed utilities, infrastructure, buffers, trees, grading, stormwater, roadways, all different kinds of particular items. And the comments that they received during that Codapalooza went directly into what you see in the public draft and what we'll see in the final document. And utilizing that public process piece, they were the only company that did, and that was one of the driving forces of selecting them to come out to Fairview. They provided an opportunity for the citizens to actually be engaged. They've also hired Keith Covington with Common Ground, who did our Fairview Forward 2040 comprehensive plan, as a sub-consultant to them. And so they're able to pull all of the information that Mr. Covington used for the Fairview Forward plan, all the meetings that were held at Camp Marymount, because that plan was only 5 years ago, 6 years ago that it was put together. Utilize all of those informational resources plus the information that they garnered from being here for a week and put all of that together. So they've comprehensively pulled together quite a bit of information from the city of Fairview and the citizens.
I think they did one time, right? And when you look at the comprehensive plan, it was a tiered approach. You had the big meeting, you had the second, third, fourth, to keep that citizen involvement and keep that synergy. And I think what we've seen is we've accumulated this aggregate of information initially, and then you guys started working on it, and then people started to send suggestions in, and we haven't had those follow-up meetings or opportunities until we get to the point where we're going to vote on something. And I think that's the question people are having now. When can we have that next meeting instead of just to the point where we're going to vote? So if we are going to have that work group or that meeting before our next planning, we need to make sure that we try to get as many people there as possible. And what is the communication going to be, either from our firm or from the city, to make sure that that is blasted out there? Every coffee place in town, every meeting that the city has, that is a talking point, that meeting is going to take place so we can get as many citizens there as we can. We don't want 4 or 5 people here. And really, that's on us to make sure that they know in plenty of time that it's going to happen, and, we blast that out to them.
We will do our best to get it out as far as we can.
With us not having a local newspaper anymore since Main Street pulled out of Fairview, we can't post it in a newspaper because we don't have a newspaper that covers just Fairview. But I think that, it's a good point, Mr. Dawson, Commissioner Dawson. One thing that I noticed is people who don't get on social media, the those digital boards that we have, that we put up before certain things, that, I think that would be the best way, because people do travel down, up and down 100. So if we could get one of the boards out there to, you know, if we're going to have it before the 18th meeting, just for maybe a couple weeks to let people know that we're going to have it. Does that sound good?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I swear I'll be the last one, but I had talked to the mayor about this. The digital boards that most towns have, I know that's not going to solve the problem right away, but if we got one of those, and I don't even know which committee you go to, you can use that to run the ads, but you can also use it as a fundraiser for the town, having people pay to say happy birthday to their child on it and stuff like that. So it'll be something that people pay more attention to.
We'll run that idea by the city commissioner, or by the city manager.
Well, you wouldn't have to worry about dragging the board out every time if you had a board there.
Final question, I swear. If we don't have this workshop November 18th, would it be pushed to December?
That's correct.
Okay, that's all I wanted to clarify. All right. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved.